So, hi, I am KB with Nerdophiles. Thank you so much, Lee, for chatting with us.
No, thanks for having me. This is awesome. Glad to be
Oh
here.
my goodness. So. I've been watching your career for a while, and I was super excited when you announced that you were going to be in this film. So, first, I would be remiss if I didn't ask, just you as Lee, if you kind of had, this unimaginable thing happen to you and you put yourself in Cameron's shoes, would you, as Lee, actually willingly choose to take this experimental solution, I'll call it?
I think right now, where I am right now, probably not. But if I was a couple of years older and I had a family, like I had kids, which is the situation, Mahershala is in this film, then I probably would. I think that would be different. That would be kind of the tipping point for me, I think.
Yeah, because it's so hard. This film takes you on such a journey and a wild ride, but at the heart of it, like you understand why Cameron wants to do this, especially because of all the grief that his wife, Poppy, has already been through. So you understand that he's mostly just trying to shield his family from kind of any additional grief so soon. I mean, you can't shield, people from grief forever, but I know that because it's just coming off the heels of that, that's what he's thinking. And so I think, yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, same, like I feel like if I had children, that'd probably be a different conversation. But right now, I'm like, there's
Yeah.
not enough research done for me to be like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I don't think so
Totally.
at all.
Because it's so fresh. Even in the film, the technology is so fresh, right? So I could understand the hesitation for sure.
Yeah, and high key, these doctors are shady. I mean, like, in my personal opinion, I'm like, I do not know that I can trust them enough to be like, well, yeah, sure, let's go ahead and do it. And I'm like, and also, your subject population is so low. I'm like, I don't know.
You nailed it. I hear you totally.
So let's talk about Rafa though. So when you got the script, kind of what intrigued you most about Rafa? Because I feel like he has such a silent strength during the first kind of portion of the film. And he's really just kind of, watching over this whole wild, crazy experiment in real time.
Yeah, it was great. Rafa aside, I just loved the script. I think it was a really beautiful script, and I cried a few times reading it. And then, to be a part of a movie with Mahershala and Glenn and Naomi, and then I'd seen Ben's short film, which is phenomenal if you haven't seen it, The Stutterer. And then I was talking to Ben about it, and so the idea was that even though it is this drama and it's a love story and it's got all this beautiful emotion, he also wanted this kind of undercurrent of tension. Like, and I'm glad you kind of picked up on that, right? Like, it is a bit shady. So, looking at what he'd been talking to Glenn about, he wanted and Glenn they wanted Dr. Scott to be really warm. So then we were talking about how Rafa could be the opposite of that. He could be very like kind of cold and quiet and distanced, and maybe that's where you get the vibes as well of just like something's not quite right. And that's always interesting to me. I'm an actor who, like everyone likes dialogue, but I think there's a lot that you can do without dialogue too. So that's
Mhm.
always an interesting challenge.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that there's so much like recently, just kind of in film in general, we're seeing a lot more people say a lot less, but have the most impactful scenes. And so you're right. Like you're noticing kind of Rafa in this background. And for me, I was like, uh, well, Rafa's not really saying anything. And that to me feels like this is a shady operation. And it's interesting that you said, that the director really wanted Dr. Scott, like Glenn's character, to be warm, because I actually didn't think she was that warm.
Oh,
I
interesting.
kind of thought that she was shady. Like I was like, I thought that she was too much of a people pleaser, which kind of
Right.
led me to be suspicious of her because I was like, she'll say anything. And that doesn't seem like it's going to go over well. So
That makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense.
yeah, I was like, So just tell me a little bit too, having the opportunity, because I know you just mentioned like working with Mahershala, working with Glenn, working with Adam and even Aquafina, kind of what will you take with you from this particular project to the next one, just kind of based on what you've learned and observed from them and what they've learned and observed from you too.
That's very kind of you to say. What every day was like a master class. Just getting to watch Mahershala and Glenn and everyone work and the kind of questions they would ask. But I think you know The thing I thought was most interesting, and the thing I'll carry forward is, before I signed on to this film, I was seeing a lot of people who were kind of getting ahead, like a lot of, and they don't necessarily have the best reputations, let's say. And then I was starting to think, is that what you need? Is that what you need to get ahead in Hollywood? Do you have to kind of be an arrogant, self-serving, whatever? And then everyone on this film was so gracious and kind and humble. And you're talking about people who are at the top, the very top of the field, and it was very reassuring to be like, oh no, you can kind of just conduct yourself with kindness and integrity, and it will all work out. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I'll have coming away from this.
I'm glad. I hope you keep that because, at the end of the day, it can be very challenging in this industry when you do see people who are not necessarily always doing the right things or doing it for the right reasons advance. But you have always been so kind and so gracious, and honestly that's what's going to carry you further than everyone else. And as you can see, just kind of working on the set, this is what advances in life. Like, people, be good human beings. It works out for us. I promise. Like, okay, so I have to ask, what is next? What do you want to do next? Kind of, what's your ideal dream role that you would step into next? If any studio, listen, if money's no object, studio's no object, like, and you could just portray your dream role, what would it be?
Uh, I always have the worst answer to this question because I don't really have an answer. I always say, look, I've looked up to people like, Philip Seymour Hoffman my whole life, and I don't think I have that one thing. I just want to, my dream is just to work consistently on cool things with cool people. I think that's all that matters. Even, I was at a screening of Nightmare Alley yesterday, and Bradley Cooper was doing a Q&A, and he was saying that he signed up last. Everyone was attached. And then, he was like, wow. And even he was like giddy at like working with all these people. But then he said, he's like, but you know what was the most amazing thing was everyone on that set was kind. And he's like, that blew my mind. And he's like, that's the thing that is most important, that matters the most. So honestly, in terms of dream role, I just want to work with cool people, cool, kind people on cool things.
Yes. And I'm glad you said Philip Seymour Hoffman, because honestly, I wouldn't be able to put Philip Seymour Hoffman in any box, to be quite honest. I mean, I just think like the wide range of roles that he had was just so vast, and there's so many memorable performances. But truly, like, I wouldn't just be like, oh, he's solely a dramatic actor or solely a comedic actor. So, I just think that he did such a beautiful body of work. And so I like that answer in the sense that, at least that, like, you like, I just want to portray a wide range of characters, but keep myself in the process. I love
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
So, which project is next then that you can talk about? I mean, you
Ah, that I can
apart
talk
from
about.
Swan Song, because Swan Song comes out next week. I want everyone to see it
That's,
because it is a trippy, wild sci-fi ride. And so, what's next?
man, I can't. Literally everything that's coming out next year, I can't talk about. Um,
Oh man,
it's the worst. It's the
it
worst. It
really
really is.
is. It really
Um,
is.
I
Don't
mean,
worry, I understand. I have to sign all types of NDAs just before I even, get an opportunity to put my eyes on an email to see something. So
oh
I,
God.
I totally understand.
I mean, all I can say is if you haven't, if you're a gamer and you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima yet, I mean, I was in the director's cut, which dropped in August, so maybe check that out.
Okay, great. Yes. So for everyone that's a game, listen, I'm kind of like a baby gamer. So I mostly, just play like Super Mario Brothers. But for those people who are more advanced,
I
and
don't think that's a baby game. There's no baby. That's just gamers are gamers. You know what I mean? Everyone loves Super Mario Brothers and Smash Brothers.
right, yeah, it just makes me happy because it's like easy, and sometimes I'm like, let me get on Mario Kart so I can, aggressively drive and not in real life. So, I'm like, I'm still kind of like a child's like gamer because I'm not, really doing the intensity. But I want everyone to check out, yes, and say it again. The video game is Ghost of
Uh,
Tsushima.
yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah,
Ghost of Tsushima, excuse me. So
that's okay.
awesome. Awesome. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for it, just even taking the time to chat with Nerdophiles. I can't wait for everyone to see you as Rafa. I do think that there's so much in this performance, and honestly, it reminded me. I don't know. Have you seen Bruised on Netflix?
I haven't yet.
Oh my gosh! So when you watch Bruised, there is a silent yet just I mean, like, I can't even tell you the things that this actor does with their eyes, even in the silence. And so it did remind me a lot of
Oh,
that. And so it was just such a like that. I'm gonna say person so I don't spoil it for you. That person really steals a lot of the scenes in that film. And so it reminded me of this. And so I'm just so happy that you had an opportunity to be in this film and it was everything that you wanted and more.
oh, thank you. And it really was. You know, I can't stress enough. Mahershala is the nicest dude on the face of the earth. So.
I love hearing that because he does seem like it. And now we all we need to do next is like, be like, Mahershala, put Lee in Blade. Like,
Call me.
yes, yes, like Marvel, put Lee in Blade. Let's make it happen. They already have a connection, they already have a strength, a dynamic, a working rapport. Just do it.
It's true.
Well, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Now you too. Thank you. Good talking to
Thanks.
you.
Good
All
talking to you
right.
too. Bye.
Bye. See ya.